Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Office Hours with Jess. In honor of getting my first assistant professor paycheck, I thought that I would record a video explaining a key question that I know every student, grad student, academic, postdoc, future assistant professor wants to know, which is how much money do you make in all of these different positions? And I thought that I would do sort of a sweeping how much you make as a PhD student to postdoc to assistant professor using averages, because again, I'm not going to reveal exactly what my programs and positions have paid because that is information that I don't know if it's supposed to be shared widely, but I'm taking sort of averages and basing it off of what I know to be true and sharing with you all how much those salaries are. And then, after taxes, after rent, kind of what that looks like, because it is important. I'll be honest, this is not a field that pays like being a hedge fund manager. So it's important to know what you are possibly going to have to think about financially as you move through a career in academia and a career in public health in academia. So I thought I would share with you all my sort of journey of payment from PhD student to assistant professor. So let's start with PhD student. Now you'll be shocked. The NIH, I think as of 2024, still states that the bare minimum that you have to pay your PhD students for a stipend is $28,000 a year. That's for 12 months. Now that's probably you can do anything with that. The rationale I received when I was a PhD student is well, that's not supposed to be a full-time salary because you're a student and that's sort of like a part-time pay. So you can think of it as you're getting paid that amount of money to do a part-time job, but that's in reality not how it works. You need to be able to have a livable wage. So what happens is a lot of programs supplement that and actually give PhD students a much higher annual stipend, and a lot of places are unionized. I was unionized at Harvard, so after I left, they are now paying their PhD students $50,000 for a stipend per year, which I think is amazing. That is way more than I was paid when I was there. But I would say on average, most programs with a healthy PhD stipend are paying anywhere between 40 to 50 now, just to keep up with inflation and cost of living, especially if you're going to a program that's in an expensive city like LA, Boston, San Francisco. So obviously location matters and cost of living also matters. So that takes a factor. But what I'm going to do is let's take a $40K PhD stipend over 12 months. So if you divide $40K by 12, every month you'll be getting a paycheck of $3,333. Now the annoying thing is that sometimes they don't deduct your taxes and other deductions. You have to file quarterly taxes. I had to deal with that. But let's just assume that you're getting taxed about 15% for that PhD stipend. So after taxes, every month you'll get $2,833. Now, my rent in Boston, I'm using Boston as an example, was $1,400 a month, even though I was living in subsidized student housing. So after that, every month that was remaining was $1,433. So not a lot. I did have to supplement my PhD stipend with additional RA work and TA work, which really helped. So just know that the stipend is not the end-all be-all. You can do additional work if your program allows for it. So that's what I did to help with offsetting that expensive cost of living in Boston. Okay, so that was my PhD student experience with my stipend. Now moving on to postdoc. So for postdocs, it's a nice healthy bump. Again, the NIH, their base rate is $62,000. But most places I'm hearing, again, especially in higher cost of living places, New York, Palo Alto, Boston, I'm hearing more upwards of 70 and above. So let's take that $70K divided by 12 months again. So that's a monthly of $5,833 roughly. And then after taxes, and I'm assuming a little bit of a higher tax deduction because you're getting paid a little more, so 20%. That is a take-home post-tax of $4,666. Now, rent is really going to vary. For me as a postdoc, I was lucky that I was sharing rent with my husband. So with that, my rent went down a little bit, even though I was living in an expensive city. So my rent was $1,300 a month, and then splitting it with my husband, and then my remaining amount was $3,366 post-tax, post-rent. So not bad. A nice, healthy bump. But the thing is like, and I'll get to this at the end of the video, it's like, I feel like as you move through, there's like, things just get, like life gets more expensive, so kind of need that extra cushion. And now finally, assistant professor. Now I used Google AI to look this up, and I believe that there are a lot of publicly available like assistant professor salaries that you can just look up online. So Google AI told me that a public health assistant professor makes generally anywhere between $80 to $95K a year. And in my experience, that's usually a 9-month salary. So what does that actually mean? So a 9-month salary means that the school is paying you for 9 months out of the 12 months, giving you the summer off. So that's really only 75% of your time. So you do have the option of working 100% by, for example, for me, I can teach extra, do other things, and work up to that 100%. Or if I get grants, I can work up to that 100% and top off my salary. So let's say, if we take that $95K 9-month salary at 100%, it would actually be $127K. And then on top of that, sometimes you can bonus or work above. So here, I'm actually able to work all the way up to 125%. That's my cap, that's my max. And that allows you to, again, supplement your income. It's not guaranteed though, so that's kind of the difference. So I'm gonna talk now about the guaranteed 9-month, $95K. What's interesting here is that when you get a 9-month salary at a Cal State, and most places, I believe, they actually still spread it across 12 months. So it's not that you're not getting paid over the summer and you're only getting paid 9 months out of the year, because that's very imbalanced. But let's go ahead and just, take the upper end, just for fun, $95K across 12 months. So that divided by 12 would be $7,916. Now, especially for me being in California, it's pretty steep in terms of what we get deducted from our paychecks. So I'm assuming a 25% sort of taxes and deductions. So that leaves me with post-tax, post-deductions, $5,937. Now my rent stayed the same, $1,300, because I'm sharing that with my husband. So my remaining take-home post-deductions, post-tax, post-everything, post-rent is $4,637. And so that is sort of my average experience of progressing from PhD student to postdoc to assistant professor. And I think that this is just really important, again, information to know as you are moving through and deciding what you want to do next, what you want to do during graduate school for those who are applying, what's to come when you might go off and do your postdoc, and then what is there for you if you choose a route in academia. And it can widely vary. Again, these are just averages, and again, these are not specific. These aren't even exactly what I have made, but there's a lot of information out there, and just know that this is something that's really important to consider. And what I have learned is that, unfortunately, salary is like not that negotiable when it comes to all of these stages because they want to be fair. Like, they don't want, one first-year postdoc making $70K, another one making $80. That would be not fair for the institution. So salary, I find, oftentimes is something that's really not negotiable when it comes to contracts, but you can negotiate on other things like relocation, service, teaching, like other stuff you can figure out. But I've learned that when it comes to salary, it's pretty locked in because they want to make it fair across the board for everyone that's in those positions. But I hope this video was insightful and helpful. I don't know if this information is truly that transparent out there, and I want to make this transparent because I didn't know anything about this until I was like receiving my offer letters. Like, oh, okay, I guess this is what I'm going to get paid. I don't know what else to do. So wanted to share this with you all so you have an idea of what is to come. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you like this video and want more videos like this, give me a thumbs up, a like, subscribe. Again, if you're liking this content, please subscribe to my channel. I really enjoy sharing all of my insights with you all and hopefully making this process of being a graduate student, researcher, postdoc, assistant professor, academic, a little bit more transparent, clear, and knowledgeable for you all. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this content. Don't forget, again, to like and subscribe, and I will see you on another episode of Office Hours with Jess.